face is the same it's been for freaking, how old are you? 40 years? Don't do that.
Why?
Tiffany, you're going to fuck around and end this whole live stream. Hold on. You know the mics work now, right? Grab your mic over there.
Is it on right now?
Yes, Tiffany. She's trying to do funny business under the table.
Ryan, shut up. For real? Oh my gosh. Nobody's on yet, so it doesn't matter. Thank God.
Back up. Okay, I'm telling you right now. I've punched a woman before, but tonight might be the night.
Come on.
What's up, exploring the unknown? That's what Tiffany's trying to do right now under this table.
Listen, I'm trying to keep it fresh. We've been married for 17 years, and we need to keep it frisky. So, are we on? Okay. Good evening. See, exploring the unknown gets it. They understand. Oh, so you're not supposed to say anything. You're supposed to just be silent.
Tiffany, it's like I'm trying to fight away a rapist. Is what's happening right now. All right?
I can't be a rapist. I'm your wife.
It can still be rape, even though you're married.
No.
Being forced to do something I don't want to do while I'm on a live stream. That is rape.
Do you really not want to do it, though?
It's not that I don't want to do it. It's that I'm busy doing something else right now.
Okay. Gotcha. So, tell me if you think this is funny. Yeah, there's always a hot mic and no video.
Yeah, the hot mic is why you guys come early. You don't need to tell us there's a hot mic.
If you don't come early, you miss the banter.
We know there's a hot mic.
You miss the sneaky stuff. You miss what I'm talking about. So I just poured my glass of wine, and I was saying to myself as I was pouring my glass of wine, since I drink wine on the video, why can't I eat a piece of fried chicken? So how would you like it if in the middle of the live stream I just whipped out a piece of fried chicken and started chewing on it? Like, is that acceptable?
Probably.
I think it is. Because once I have like a couple sips of wine, I get hungry.
Black on black, we can get it done in 2 minutes.
Oh my gosh. That's funny. So yeah, I was really thinking about getting a piece of chicken.
Are you hungry? Have you not eaten yet?
I just had that couple of bites of not too much wine. I just have my weekly. I actually don't have wine during the week except for on Monday nights. I think it helps loosen me up a little.
Yeah?
For the show, yeah. Or else I don't want to say I'm shy because that's probably not accurate, but I can be a little bit shy is how I feel. Okay, Matthew, good question. We can answer it when we jump on the live and stop bantering and do the opening credits. So, yeah, I have my weekly glass of wine because it just helps me loosen up. And that's why Ryan likes Monday nights.
Yeah? Does Ryan want you to be loose? I want Tiffany ready to make bad decisions, people. Isn't that what all husbands want?
I have less ambition to fight him off.
Yeah. Red dirt.
Yeah, red dirt, we know.
This is the point of coming early.
That's the important coming early.
Walking around the Christmas tree, have a happy holiday. Everyone dancing merrily in the new old-fashioned way.
I am a sheepdog.
I have a subconscious and moral burden
to protect and help the people around me.
I believe in safety, responsibility,
and the God-given right to defend myself and others
from the wolves who seek to steal, kill, and destroy.
I defend the Second Amendment
by properly representing what it means to be a gun owner.
I will put aside my doubts,
my fears, and my excuses.
I will be trained, I will be ready.
I will be confident, and I will be prepared.
While some sheepdogs are born, most are made.
Becoming a sheepdog is a choice,
a new way of thinking, and a new identity.
An alter ego that you must step into.
We are patriots.
We are defenders of liberty.
We protect those we love.
We are sheepdogs.
What is up?
Hello.
Sheepdogs, Ryan G here.
And the Tiffster. Yeah, Tiffster. I like that. I like that better than the pickle.
Yeah?
My previous AKA Tiffany, AKA the pickle.
I like the pickle.
You like the pickle, I know, but I don't really like the pickle. Sweet or sour?
Oh, the sweet pickles are disgusting.
No,
you guys tell me in the comments, do you like sweet pickles or you like dill pickles? Dill pickles are the only way to go.
Sorry, I prefer the bread and butter. The bread and butter pickles, the sliced, and they got a little bit of sweetness. Ooh, those are good.
Every single time I've tried them, I've been like, what?
Really?
Terrible person created this item. I think it's gross.
I don't like you.
Matthew
I can't believe
Dill.
I married you. Can't believe I married
sweet.
you. Sweet.
Oh, it's crazy.
EJM. Yes.
Sweet Shane.
Yes, Shane. Yes, team sweet pickle.
Garlic dill. I've never had that. That sounds good.
Yeah, garlic dill. Yep. The chunk of garlic in the bottom of the container. Oh, so good.
No, those olives that Tiff's bought, they're like garlic stuffed olives.
Yep.
I like suck the garlic thing out and eat the garlic by itself and then eat the
I feel
olive.
like you're coming out to me here, Ryan.
You rub some garlic on you and it's game on. Game on! Shut this live
Agree
stream.
with Miss Tiff. Yes, those bread and butter sliced pickles, they're so good. Like I could eat the whole jar. Ugh. But unfortunately, the sweetness adds some calories, because you eat the dill pickles, you can get away with a lot.
Yeah.
But as soon as you add those sweetened, or what are they called? Bread and butter pickles. As soon as you add those, you rack up the slices. So
yeah.
Anyway, happy to have you guys all on here Monday night. Are you excited?
I'm excited. Yeah. Woo! I'm excited.
Did you guys see our Christmas house decorations?
Okay, so let me tell you.
I may have used our child a little bit.
So I was not. We're going to be in Canada for like most of the month.
Well, not most of the month. So we're leaving on the 21st. We're going to see my family now that the COVID restrictions have loosened up, as some of you know. So the only family member I have here is my sister Lori, who's single. But otherwise, the rest of my family, like literally the rest of my family, is in Canada. And I haven't been able to go there because of Canada's crazy COVID crap.
And until now, you had to be vaccinated across the border.
Yeah, but do you know that they can't come here unless they're vaccinated? So now we're the strict ones, which is so crazy. It feels
Hold
weird.
on. America says they can't come here unless they're vaccinated?
If you can come into America, if you are an American resident, you can come here not vaccinated. But if you're coming from another country, you cannot enter the country unless you are vaccinated.
Interesting. Unless you enter illegally. Then it's okay. Then we're going to provide you with housing, a food stamp card, all that stuff.
So they can't come see us, but for the first time in 6 years or whatever,
it hasn't been that long.
We're going up to Canada. So, yeah, my brother was...
Okay, since we've been to Canada. I thought you were saying, since we were allowed to go to Canada.
No. Since we've been to Canada. So, we are going to Canada. Tomless family vacation.
Okay, so
this way. I don't know how the kids are going to handle the snow. Because the last time we went, it was rough. They were super excited until we got there.
We're going to Tiff's. I haven't told Tiff this yet. Or the kids, frankly.
But why do you wait to tell me stuff on the live in front of people?
I like to surprise you.
Great.
I like to surprise. This doesn't involve you, so it doesn't matter.
Oh, okay.
But we're going to Tiffany's brother's lake cabin, which is at the Lake of the Woods. Is that what it's called?
Lake of the Woods in Ontario, yeah.
And it's not a cabin. It's a monstrosity of a house, first of all.
It is kind of like a mansion.
He said cabin, Okay, and I'm thinking like, okay, cabin,
Like you're roughing it.
logwood, like we gotta have a wood burning fireplace,
No.
and then he casually is like, paid $4.5 million for it, and I'm like, what? That's not a cabin, bro. That's not a cabin. Anyway, I think we're gonna go run outside in just our underwear and jump in the
You
lake.
can't jump in the lake. It's frozen. We're going ice fishing.
We're going ice fishing. Okay,
Yeah.
so we're gonna go outside
And you can't, like,
in our underwear and just jump in the snow.
Jump in the snow, like in a snowbank?
Yeah.
You're going to do that? Mister, you need to wear a hoodie with a hood on when it's like 76 degrees.
Listen, first of all, I wear that for comfort and style.
Okay, who?
Kanye West doesn't even show his face on interviews anymore.
You're not. You're not.
I could be Kanye.
Kanye. No. I don't want you to be Kanye. Please don't be Kanye.
Did you guys, dude, okay. Tell me in the comments.
Take the hood off. Yes.
Did you guys
You look
hear
ridiculous.
Kanye's interview where he talked about buying the earth?
No, nobody's seen
no.
that interview. You know why? Because none of us with a brain watch Kanye's interviews.
No, okay. You gotta watch his interviews because they're a freaking train wreck. Did anybody watch Kanye's interview about buying the earth on the Joe Rogan podcast? It is insane.
Really?
Oh my gosh.
Well, I do listen to Joe Rogan, so maybe I'll
It's
go back and
insane.
watch it.
He's like, how much is the earth? I'm gonna buy the earth.
He's not that
And
rich.
I'm gonna-
Somebody just shared, like, this is something really, really cool. Somebody just shared it. One of our admins, they shared, like, the richest people in the world from, like, 1983 or something like that. And it, like, staggered, right? Showing who was the richest in the earth. And I thought, like, I was going to see, like, Elon Musk on there and stuff. But no. There's, like, Bezos made it, but it's cool to see, like, how many people got on and then dropped off. And, like, Zuckerberg, you saw him, like, Zuckerberg, whatever you call him.
Zuckerberg.
You saw him, like, really high, and then, boom, he just drop after, like, all this crazy stuff that he did, like, monitoring people. So I love to see his name just drop.
Who is this?
Zuckerberg.
Okay.
Drop and fall off
Yeah.
completely. So that made me happy. I just have to say it a little, like, it made me excited. But anyway, Kanye's nowhere there. The guy can't buy the earth. Why is he talking about buying the earth? Like, how?
Listen, the dude's got an incredible mindset. The balls. He's crazy, but he might be a genius. I don't know, Tiff.
No, honestly, I'm just gonna say it. I might get yelled at. I think he's someone that just lucked out. Sorry, I do. I think he just lucked out. I think he came in at the right time, the right place, got the right followers, and he just lucked out because there's nobody that can be that stupid that could, make it that far. Some people just luck out.
You realize that since we're a global broadcast, TMZ is probably saying this right now,
You know what?
replaying our show.
Kanye is probably writing me an email.
Don't start shit with Kanye right
He's
now, okay?
probably writing me an email right now. That's how popular we are.
With our
I
80
bet you.
viewers.
80 viewers.
Okay, so I think it was James. James says on here, what do I think about the Canik TP9 SFX Rival?
Okay.
I think it's pretty dope. Look at it, Tef.
Yeah, it is. It is a nice gun. I watched a few things on it.
Canik, oh, you did?
Yeah. So, I mean, listen, a lot of people are Canik fans.
Yeah.
They buy them, they shoot them, they love them, they buy more. So, people don't buy more of something that they think is
They don't buy
stupid
multiple,
gun.
yeah.
Exactly. And a lot of people that own one Canik will purchase multiple Caniks. So,
Yeah.
there's nothing bad about them. I do think it's a little big for, like, carry. I mean, it's like a shooting gun, right? Or like a competition gun. It's not something for carry. But
Well, some of them are. Like the TP.
No, but I'm saying this particular
that one is a
model,
competition model,
yes,
yeah.
is a competition model. So it's not, made for carry. I mean, you could carry it, but it's kind of big. Look like you got something big in your pants. Maybe that's what you want. But I think it's a sweet pistol. And
Yeah.
I think that Caniks are awesome guns. I shot one before. I thought it was awesome. It shot really nice. I liked it.
Yeah, I think they're badass.
We just don't own any. I don't really know why. Probably because you just kind of want to stick to...
Honestly, the reason I don't is I'm not really interested in handguns right now because I have so many. Like I have, this guy came to the class the other day. It was so funny. Actually, we got to talk about this guy because he really pissed me off. But he
might be watching.
I don't care if he is. He needs to know that he is an idiot, in my opinion. So we'll share that in a minute. But the guy was like,
I'll drink a sip
he's
of wine.
like, dude, I got an arsenal. And I was like, oh, okay. Like, how many guns do you have? And he's like, I have 8. And I was like, okay. I have 8 guns in like one bag. So that's not an arsenal. But the reason that I felt like this guy was very, very foolish in the class, this is the kind of person that frankly has always really bothered me and that I always extremely disagree with.
Yeah.
So this guy, I was asking him like what kind of guns he had, and he said he has a Desert Eagle 50 AE. So I was like, oh, that's awesome, dude. That's like a super cool gun. And I said, you know, the first time I shot a 50 AE, I was very scared.
Yeah, because you see the videos on the internet and stuff, and you're just not sure. Like,
you see the videos of people pulling the trigger and smashing themselves in the face.
And before you go on, like if you've ever, you know, looked at one and held one and pulled the slide back, like it's super cool to see. There's like a rifle bolt in there, right? So when you see that in a handgun, you're like, ooh, this could be interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, it's like a very, very powerful gun. So I said, yeah, I told that story. And then he had a younger woman with him, which I think is his girlfriend.
Yeah.
But he said, yeah, I'm going to have her shoot it next time we go to the range. And I said, oh, okay. Like, what's your experience shooting, miss? And then the guy interrupted me and he's like, oh, she's an experienced shooter. She knows how to shoot. And then the woman said, yeah, I've shot one time with him.
Yeah.
So I said, like, okay, you know, shooting one time is not experienced.
Yeah.
And
no matter how good your instructor is, shooting one time would not be considered experienced. Let me just clarify that. Because even, you know, taking our more advanced classes, if it's your first time, you're still not yeah, it takes time.
So I said, like, you know, that might not be a good idea because a lot of people, I shared a story of the young college girl who came home from college for Christmas vacation, okay? Her dad gave her a Smith & Wesson 500, which is the largest caliber handgun in the world. Like the bullets are bigger than my thumb, okay?
Huge.
So this girl, I'm gonna try to do it on camera. The dad didn't tell her that this was the most powerful gun in the world because he wanted it to be funny.
Yeah.
This girl pulled the trigger, boom, boom, shot herself in the head, and she fell over dead in the gun range.
So your reflexes, just so you know, when you're holding the firearm and it goes off, your finger's on the trigger and it just like almost automatically squeezes when you go back. It happens so fast.
Happens
right?
a lot.
Yeah.
And it happens a lot when people shoot the Smith & Wesson 500 is what I've noticed.
Yeah.
Okay, so I shared that story and this guy interrupts me again and he goes, that won't happen. And I was like, he said, I wasn't going to tell her the gun was that powerful.
Yeah.
And I said, sir, but that's why people get hurt shooting big guns like this.
Yeah.
Because people like you think it's funny to give people guns that are way too powerful for them.
In fact, I think we have that listed as like the number 3 mistake in one of our courses that says giving someone a gun that's too powerful for them to handle for their experience level. I mean, it's silliness to give somebody such a massive, caliber that has, so much recoil when they don't even know proper grip and stance and they don't know what to expect because you're like, oh, no, it's not going to be a big deal. So they're not ready for it.
And What's Up has a great idea. So if you have a really powerful gun like that.
Only ever put one round in it.
Just put one bullet in it.
Yeah, always.
When we owned a machine gun, we owned a M11 for a while, but I bought it just so that I could sell it because I couldn't afford to keep it.
Right.
So our nephew shot it, and how old was he? 12? So
I think it was more like 14, but still.
He was pretty
and he
young.
was more experienced because he had been shooting with us.
Doesn't
a lot
matter.
Of times.
I only put 3 bullets in it. Yeah. I had him kneel in a kneeling position, and I was holding the suppressor with a glove on, so the gun couldn't go anywhere.
Yeah.
But because we wanted to control it, right? So anyway, I just thought this guy was super foolish. And then somebody else in the class had just gotten robbed. He was riding his bicycle home, and a guy came out of like a shadow and put a gun to him and robbed him and stole his bike. Yeah. So now this guy is getting a Florida concealed carry permit to protect his bike from getting stolen, right? So I said, listen, now that I want you to pretend that you have a time machine. Yeah. You go back to that day. You've got your Florida concealed carry permit. You've got your gun on you. This bad guy comes out of the shadows with a gun. What are you going to do? And he was like, I'd probably do the same thing. I'd probably just let him take my bike. And I said, I agree. I think that's a smart thing to do. Yep. So this cop interrupts me and he goes, or you could just twist the gun out of the guy's hand. And I said, sir, you might know how to do that because you're a retired police officer, but this young 22-year-old guy, I said, do you know how to do that? And he's like, no. And I'm like, okay, then you probably shouldn't be doing advanced maneuvers that you don't know how to do. Yeah. Right?
Like
that's
you
how
see
people
on the
die.
movies.
It was so foolish.
Yeah. And then he's like, yeah, anybody can do it. It's super easy. So Because we always tell people, you don't draw on a drawn gun, right? Because they already have the advantage. So if they just want your wallet or whatever it is, give them your freaking wallet because a couple $100. Do we even carry cash in our wallet anymore? Like maybe you got a couple $100, or maybe like me and you got like 3 $1 bills and like 15 quarters, right?
Yeah.
So just give them your wallet or give them whatever it is, because it is not worth your life. And that's, a lot of the stories that we're going to share tonight. It's very sad, and it's just you have to look and say, like, what is my life worth?
Yeah.
Is it worth this bicycle that they're stealing out of my shed outside? No, it's not. Let them take your freaking bike. Yeah. It's just a bike. It's $200. Dead, bleeding to death in your yard, $200.
Yeah, so Jeff Tabor says, sounds like the Detroit urban survival guy. Have you seen this dude?
No.
Okay, this guy is
this another new guy like that other guy who's like pointing the gun at
this
people?
guy is like all over social media. But what he does is he has people put guns in his face in all these weird positions.
Yeah.
And then he like twists it out of the person's hand in all these creative ways, right? So what was super awesome is he always publishes these videos of him getting the guns out of people's hands.
Okay.
So he had this guy, dude had an airsoft gun, and this Detroit dude tried to grab the gun, and the guy just moved it back and then shot him with the airsoft gun.
Ooh.
And then the Detroit survival guy was like, no, you're not supposed to move. And the guy's like, okay.
But yeah,
so then he goes
supposed to show you what I could do to you.
He goes to grab the gun, and the guy moves back again and shoots him. It was so funny because, again, you're an idiot.
Yeah.
You're making gun owners believe that what you're doing is the right thing to do.
Yeah.
And listen, I get it. If you have a lot of training, then go for it.
Yeah, like I'm thinking like our friend Lane or Anthony, who's like got some major skills. They're like trained fighters. They probably know how to do that kind of stuff. Yeah. And you know what? If you can do that, if you're like a Chuck Norris clone, do it. But if you're just an everyday guy or girl, just like, you
better have more practice than just watching a YouTube video.
Yeah, because like, sweetie, I don't want to put you on blast here, but like you couldn't do that, could you?
No, I can't do that. Do you want to know why I can't do that? Because I've never done it.
Right.
So like, it's kind of like.
But you've seen it many times done on John Wick. You've watched that series like 50 times.
Yeah, guess what? This is going to be a shocker to you, Tiff. I can't do any of the crap John Wick does. So I can't do most of that. John Wick like jumps off the building and lands, I'd be like, shit, I need to stretch.
Give me a heating pad.
Time out, bro. Ice pack.
Oh my gosh.
Come on, man.
All right, so let's get on to some of the questions tonight.
All right, so let's go to this.
Who?
This is a very evil scumbag. This is a road rage shooting that happened Thanksgiving. Young couple is on their way home from Thanksgiving dinner, and it just seemed like it was totally random. He just decided to wildly open fire into their car. So let's watch this.
The search is on for the driver who pulled the trigger. Meanwhile, family and coworkers of the victim are grieving and say they want justice.
She showed up every single day with such heart, such passion.
Sitting in Annie Estevez's classroom.
It's really devastating, a devastating loss.
Janessa Stearns says her heart is broken.
We're all very shaken up and very, sad. It's a sad feeling of loss.
Stearns is the owner of the preschool in Fort Lauderdale, where 23-year-old Annie was a teacher for the past 3 years. A young life cut short after BSO investigators say she was shot multiple times in a road rage incident Sunday. Family members say Annie and her boyfriend were driving home after celebrating Thanksgiving when their car was hit.
It was like a hit and run. And obviously my sister doesn't really she's not mean to anybody, so I just don't understand how he just pulled out a gun automatically, like if it was nothing.
Broward deputies say the driver was in a white BMW i8. Deputies say he sideswiped Annie's Nissan Sentra while approaching Davie Boulevard on I-95. When they asked him to slow down, investigators say he started shooting, hitting the couple multiple times. Annie died at the hospital after being put on life support. Deputies releasing this sketch of the driver. Annie's sister Mary with this message for that driver.
She's not here anymore. And it was because of you. I just want you to go get some help. Because that's not right for you to just shoot someone just like that and just leave. That's inhumane. It's like we're in a nightmare and we just can't wake up from it.
What are your thoughts?
So super sad. I'm happy that we're showing this story. I'm happy that you guys are, because we have lots of people that are down in like Miami and stuff. Maybe that's not a very, very popular car, that BMW.
No, because it's ugly.
But I'm just saying, like, I hope that they really catch this guy. What are my thoughts? I mean, it's terribly sad. It's
sounds like the guy was
sad.
drunk because he like sideswiped the lady's car. He was probably drunk.
Yeah,
but then
or something else. Yeah.
This goes to show all they did was tell this guy
Slow
after
down.
he already sideswiped him.
Slow down. Like, that's nothing. Nothing. That is the bare minimum.
Right.
That you should do, right? When somebody sideswipes you. It's really sad. This whole situation is very, very sad for this young lady, for her whole family. I hope they catch this guy because the guy's a scumbag and needs to be in jail for the rest of his life and should not be, out on the road. Again, we talk about this all the time. This is an exact point of why you never know who you're fooling around with. You never know, what somebody will do to you. And as sad as it is, I don't even know if they didn't say anything, if he still wouldn't have shot at them.
Yeah, because the guy's obviously crazy, right?
Yeah, completely
This goes
crazy.
to show you never know who you're dealing with.
Yeah.
You might do something very minor, like flipping somebody off, brake checking them.
Slow down.
Whatever. We just had a road rage shooting here in Brandon.
Yeah.
Did you guys see that? So it was a Lamborghini. We don't know if the Lamborghini was the victim or the aggressor. All we know is that the Lamborghini was parked in the middle of the road as the police were investigating everything. So we know that the person that got shot has non-life-threatening injuries, got brought to the hospital, and a person was arrested, I believe. But that's it. So we don't know what started it. We know it was road rage.
It happened like 4 days ago just in Brandon. So again, I feel like, I don't want to be a broken record here, but this is happening more often.
Yeah.
This is getting out of control, in my opinion. You can't even honk at someone or tell someone to slow down after they hit your car without fear of being shot at. This is a little insane.
Yeah.
It's a little insane. So be safe out there, be aware, and if somebody pisses you off in traffic, keep your head straight and just move on.
And do nothing.
Do not engage.
Do not engage.
As hard as it is, do not engage because your life is worth more than that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Which is
really
so hard to do.
So hard to do.
Yeah. In all things, right? Because it could be just standing up and defending somebody in a store. And that scumbag who's yelling at, the young woman behind the Starbucks line, that bad guy just decides to pull out a gun and shoot you.
Yeah.
It's really crazy how our society is devolving into just chaos.
Yeah.
And yeah, Dan the man, that's why it's important to have dash cams so we actually have evidence and proof of what's happening. I just saw this dash cam footage of this dude that was parked at a red light. He was in the front, he was in the very front, and he just decided to put his car into reverse and smash into the car behind him. And then the victim was like, I caught all that on camera, you idiot. But pretty wild. So he's just setting the guy up to
this guy will be caught.
Yeah.
He said, probably has his car locked in a garage. Listen, you can pull the records of car insurance. You can find out who has that BMW in that, color, make, and model. You've got a sketch of the guy. It is only a matter of time before this guy gets caught. I just hope that he gets caught soon because the scumbag does not deserve to be out of jail. So
so Jay
crazy.
says, do you remember the incident a few years ago where a guy flashed an oncoming car that didn't have his lights on, and then they pulled out a shotgun?
I
and it
do
was a gang
remember that.
initiation. Yeah, that actually happens a lot. That's been happening for 30 years,
Which
right?
is such a crazy thing. Well, now, the whole flashing your lights, because most cars now have the
automatic.
lights. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's not much of a thing. But
I
do
saw
remember
I saw it
when
just on
that-
Saturday.
Really?
A car driving, or maybe it was last Thursday night.
So I had somebody post in one of the groups because I guess the new LED lights are a lot brighter.
Yeah.
So people are flashing their brights, shut off your brights, arsehole, right? But it's just the LED lights. It's not really the brights. And that's also an issue too now because you get some guy who's whatever or gal behind the wheel who's super pissed and on edge, and they think that because you shine their brights at them that now they're going to pull out their gun and shoot you. It's very scary and it's very sad. I don't know. It makes me upset to think of this stuff.
What are your thoughts on this? I didn't put it in our list of stories today. Tell everybody about the young girl that got kidnapped by the FedEx driver.
This, okay. I don't cry very often, except for Ryan.
Except for every time I do something wrong.
Ryan makes me cry
Ever.
like all the time. But like when I watch a story on the news or something, I typically don't cry over it. But I literally, like, tears were gushing down my face listening to this story of the 7-year-old girl who, you know, got into a little fight with her stepmother, and then she was outside in the front yard just kind of like, you know, cooling off, playing with her stuff. And a FedEx driver was driving by. They call it a crime of opportunity, where he saw this little girl. There was nobody around. He snatched her up, and within an hour, she was dead. They don't know yet if she was, you know, sexually assaulted or anything. But so sad to think that, you know, this little girl, 7 years old, my heart just breaks. My heart breaks for the family. My heart breaks to just think about that little girl in her last moments and how terrifying it was. And then it makes me so sad to think, like, that this is the world we live in, that we have to worry about our kids just in the front yard, you know, like we used to dig for ants and worms and bugs, and just like our kids are out there, you know, drawing chalk on the driveway and stuff, and they should be allowed to do that without fear of a delivery driver going by. And it just really hit home for me, because I probably see 10 to 20 delivery drivers a day on our street, between Uber Eats, FedEx, Amazon drivers, Walmart delivery. Like, there's a lot. And sometimes they'll walk up and my kids are right there, you know, and I'll see them on the doorbell, and it's just very, very scary.
Yeah.
Very sad. So I showed my kids the video again. I explained to them, listen, you might have seen this person multiple times. You may think like, oh, it's a delivery driver, no big deal. You know, they got a package and they're not a threat. And I just had to, sadly, I didn't want to do it because I want kids to have a little bit of innocence, but I had to explain to them that there are bad people that want to do bad things, and they just need to be very careful and to watch and to stay a safe distance away. And if they try to come close, you know, to run and to scream and all this stuff. But it was very hard having that conversation with them.
Yeah.
And it sucked. And I had to give Paisley and her friend, you know, they're almost 14 years old, and they wanted to walk up the street. And I was like, here's a pocket knife. Yeah, here's a pocket knife. Here's pepper spray. Showed them how to use it. Went over everything again. They're like, Mom, we know. Oh, my gosh. I'm like, if anybody tries to come close to you, if anybody gets within 10 to 15 feet from you, I don't care how stupid you feel. You run like hell. You run home. You scream. I said, I don't care. I don't care if you feel dumb. I don't care if you think it's silly. You do what I'm telling you, because it's a crime of opportunity. People are looking for, they may not have done anything that day, but because they see an opportunity, they see you walking, nobody's there. And, you know, I also had to explain to them, which I think that you need to go over with your children if you have children. I said, I know that you girls think you're tough. I know that you girls think like you're,
yeah,
you
so
know,
it's funny.
feisty.
Paisley said to me the other day, she goes, Dad, I just feel like if somebody tried to do that to me, I'd be able to fight them. And I said, okay, Paisley, so if Dad pinned you on the ground, like if I put your arms on the ground and pinned you, could you fight me? And she's like, no. And I said, that's the point.
Yeah, so
you can't, when she's wrestled with me, I've actually never tried to fight her back, right?
Yeah,
I just
like really tried.
Yeah, I just am
you
a
let
little
them
bit,
mess with you.
Whatever. But I've never actually tried to hurt you guys before. If I tried to hurt you, it'd be game over, right?
Yeah, and I explained that to her. I said, a grown man, I said, no matter what, I said, a man, and some of you women on here may write me an email, classes@tampacarry.com.
We will not read it.
I will read it, but I just don't care because I feel like it's the truth. Men are just built naturally stronger, okay? So you can typically, not all the time, there's always exceptions to the rule. Like, I can beat up Ryan, but there's always exceptions to the rule.
Just because I like it.
Men can typically overpower women naturally, okay? So I explained that to Paisley, and I was explaining it to her friend, and I was like, you guys cannot be naive into thinking that you're stronger than somebody and that you can outfight a man.
Yeah.
So, and they were like, okay, yes, ma'am. But I tell them that every single time they leave the house because it's terrifying. It's terrifying.
Okay. So Jay might be in the same position as me. He's like, my wife might be stronger.
I'll tell you what.
Definitely a little scarier.
I could put Ryan in between my legs and I could literally crush him. Like I have seriously stronger legs than anybody that I know. I remember being in 7th grade, so 12 years old, and leg lifting 220 pounds, and my brother and my dad being like, what the hell on the machine? Like, I just got like super uber strong legs. I don't know why.
Like the Belgian workhorse.
Yes, like a Belgian workhorse, like I call myself. But I can, if I get you between my legs, oh, you're done. You're done.
With child support.
I guess that sounds
okay.
a little
Katora
nasty.
says, can you crush a watermelon with your thighs?
I don't know. I don't know, Katora. That's a good question. Maybe that's a YouTube video.
All right. So Matt says, do you still carry a Glock 19 Gen 5 with the blood red Axis Elite holster?
Yes, he does.
Yeah.
Yeah, his Axis Elite, to be fair, his Axis Elite holster did break, right?
Just a stupid little rope thing keeps breaking. So I just kind of took the little clip off and I just tied it in a bunch of good knots.
Okay.
And that'll hold for 6 months or so. And then I got to retie it because it all comes apart. But
okay. But I mean, you've had it for like
several years.
3 years, 4 years?
Yeah, 3 years. So, and I use a Core Essentials belt, which is available on my website, shoptampacarry.com.
Yeah, so Core Essentials belt, the Axis Elite red. Yeah, he chose the red holster, and then Glock 19 with the Tragically
SRO
optic. Yeah,
and a Enforce APL, maybe light flashlight. APLC
You
or something like that.
have a flashlight on your carry gun?
Yeah, you don't know that?
Really? Why did I not know that?
I've had a light on my carry gun for 3-4 years. You don't know that?
You got a lot in your pants.
I'm used to it.
Because that Axis Elite comes with an extra mag, right?
Yeah.
So how many rounds do you have on you at all times?
33.
33 rounds.
Yeah.
Pretty good.
Okay, so Matthew says, how does the SRO stack up against the RMR? So here's the thing. When the Tragically RMR was originally created, it was not created to ever put it on a pistol. It was created to mount on top of a Tragically ACOG, which is a fixed like 3-power optic, right? So, but if you're in a combat situation in Iraq and you're shooting a target that's 250 yards away, you want the 3-power. But now if you're clearing a building and your target is 10 feet away, you don't want 3 times magnification because it's going to be hard to see, right? So the RMR was designed to be mounted as a quick reflex optic for a fixed power scope, right? But then a bunch of dudes were like, hey, I can mount this on a pistol, put it on a pistol.
Right.
So the SRO was designed as the very first Tragically made pistol only, or designed for a pistol optic.
Right.
So the glass is a lot bigger. It's a lot easier to see, whereas with the RMR, it's very narrow and just very hard.
Say, every time I shoot your gun, I'm like, ooh, this is nice. Because I was like, I don't want, a girl, like, it's harder because you wear everything tight and stuff, so you don't want all this extra stuff on there, lights, armor, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
But every time I shoot your gun, it feels like home. I don't know how to explain it, except for it feels like home.
Yeah.
Yeah. And people have shot your gun at the range.
Lots of people. I let people shoot it all the time.
And what do they say? Like, ooh.
Yeah.
they like it. They want it.
The gun is dialed in, man. Like, so if you've ever, what's a good example? But most of the time when you buy a brand new gun, it's just not worked in enough.
Yeah.
So it's not smooth or anything like that.
Yeah.
My gun has been shot a lot.
Yeah, it's
so
smooth.
because it's been shot so much, and I've done a lot of gunsmithing and stuff to it.
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you like tweaked the rails and stuff? Yeah.
So it's like super smooth. It's like a very nice gun to shoot. So anyway, people really like it.
Okay, so you just said, you gave a teaser. You said you've done some gunsmithing. What do you typically do to your guns? What are like the two things, or the for sure that you're gonna do to a new gun?
To a Glock.
To a Glock.
Okay. So first two things I'm going to do, any Glock that I buy, is I'm going to rip out the standard magazine release and the standard slide catch.
Okay.
So I'm going to replace it with a Viking Tactics extended magazine release, extended slide catch. Yep. Okay. So that's one thing. That's the first thing I'm going to do. Second thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to totally redo the frame.
Okay.
Right? I take a razor blade and I start scraping the frame of the gun. I start reshaping it. I start making it thinner,
you take
more
out some of the plastic.
Yeah. Then I bust out a Dremel. I start sanding the hell out of this gun.
Yeah.
all the little corners, all the weird little spots.
And you do it very slowly,
It's
and
very
then you
slow.
feel the grip, and
It's
then
like
you're
Michelangelo working on a piece of marble.
Because you want to make it feel like it fits like good.
Perfect in your
Great.
hand.
Yeah.
So I do all that, and then obviously I cause a lot of damage when I do that. So then I gotta sand it and start polishing it all to make it all look nice again, right? Might do some little engravings or whatever with the Dremel that I've gotten pretty good at doing. So that's all that stuff's like pretty standard.
Okay.
Then
polish the feed ramp.
The feed ramp, depending on the barrel. The last gun that I built, I used a Zev barrel, so that stuff was already done because I paid $350 for the barrel, probably.
Okay.
So
why did
it better be done.
Why did you upgrade to the Zev barrel? What was the reasoning?
Just the look. Just the
It was
aesthetics.
just for the look?
Yeah, because the Gen 5 Glocks already come with a match grade barrel. So there's no reason to upgrade the barrel to make the barrel higher quality because it's already high quality.
You just like the dimpled look.
Yeah, it's just the dimpled look, the cool gold look of it. Just looks badass.
Okay, so if you don't upgrade the barrel, you polish the feed ramp.
Always.
Okay. Explain why you polish the feed ramp.
So when they machine the feed ramp, they machine it horizontally like this. So there's little stair steps. So when you're shooting, the bullet will go and get stuck on those little ledges, and it prevents it from sliding into the chamber properly.
Especially probably
with wide mouth hollow points. It's always a huge issue. So you take a little bit of like 400, you could start with 200 grit sandpaper, maybe a little bit, and then go to 400. But you're basically making those grooves vertical.
So you're just slowly,
rubbing it just like that.
That looks bad, but you're just slowly rubbing the feed ramp, which is right where the bullet goes into the barrel. Okay, you're just slowly rubbing it to get rid of those very small machining grooves.
Yeah. So do that, use a pencil to do it, or even a Sharpie marker. I'll put the sandpaper on the Sharpie because that's the same size as a feed ramp for a 9mm, and rub it back and forth. And then I take a Dremel with the polishing wheel and Mother's Mag aluminum polish. The stuff is amazing.
Yeah.
Put a glob on there and then just polish the hell out of it until it's like mirror finish.
Mirror finish. Yeah. So anyway, something cool for you guys to do if you like to do a little, tweaking of your own at home, very low cost, and especially if you have a Dremel, which I think is like $30-$40 you can get it for. So you can do a lot with the Dremel.
Okay, Brian Mills, what's the best gun safe? The gun safe that I love for in the home is called the Gun Speed Vault, the Gun Vault Speed Vault.
Gun Vault Speed Vault, yes.
Yeah,
so it mounts, it's very thin. It mounts like this, so you can, mount it to the side of your desk, to the side of your bed, in front of your front door, and it's just got a couple buttons. They do make a biometric one too, but it pops open automatically, spring-loaded. It has a light, and it holds your firearm up and ready to grab. So there's no, you have to, grab it and then put it in your hand. It's ready to go, and you can just pull it, and you can fit a full-size pistol in there. So it's super fast to access. You can access it in the dark because it has a light, and it's spring-loaded.
Question number 1. I want to get my Florida concealed carry permit. I was charged with a criminal mischief misdemeanor in 2019. The charge was non-adjudicated as I was pursuing personal counsel on my own. Don't know what that means. DA insisted on 6 months probation, which I cleared. I have no other criminal charges. My question is, do I need to list this charge on the concealed carry application after 3 years, and can this block my application? So the questions on the application, I actually don't remember right now, but I'm going to try to remember. One of them says, have you been adjudicated or have you been convicted of or had adjudication of guilt withheld on a crime punishable by more than 1 year? Have you been convicted of a felony? Have you had adjudication withheld on a felony? Stuff like that. So you just need to answer those questions on that application truthfully.
You always need to be truthful on that, yes.
But as long as the probation is... the probation, the court-ordered mandate, the court-ordered fine, as long as all that stuff ended more than 3 years ago, then you should totally be fine to go.
Yeah, but people get confused and they're like, oh yeah, that was, ruled upon on this day. It doesn't matter because if you had a year probation, that 3 years doesn't start till the year probation is over.
Correct.
So whatever you had to do has to be completely done, and then an additional 3 years.
Oh yeah, he said he appeared in 2020, so you're not done. Your 3 years is not done.
Yeah, so you have all 3 years after everything is said and done, completed, right? Probation, 6 months.
The fines.
Yeah, everything is done. And then you have to answer the application truthfully. And then, can this block my application? It's not going to block your application, but they are going to send you a letter requesting right? A final disposition
Proof
of the charges.
of when your probation ended.
Yes. So you can get all that from the county clerk's office in the county that you were arrested in. You just call them. Do they charge you $10? I feel like they charge you $10.
I think I paid like $7 or something.
I think they charge you $7 or $10, and you get a final disposition of those charges, and then you can send that in with your application, just showing that, hey, this is what what the final disposition was. This is when my probation was over, and then they'll see that it's 3 years from that. So
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, this is super scary. This is something that's been happening in the state of Florida and Tampa for a very long time. This scumbag right here has got a fake, unmarked police car.
Man, that's scary.
He's got a fake badge. He pulled up to a group of women that were driving a car, okay? 3 women. He pulls the women over and says, I believe there's something in this vehicle. All 3 of you need to get out. So he has them all on the hood of the car. He searches them all, groping them.
Yeah,
right?
groping them.
And then he says to one of the women, you are under arrest, and he puts her in zip ties. Puts her in the back of his car and just lets the other 2 women go. Drives this woman down the street, rapes her, and then brings her back to the car where her other 2 friends are and says, you're good to go. Then after this story came out, because obviously these women called the police, like, what the hell just happened? After the story came out, another victim who never called the police came forward and said, hey, this happened to me too.
Oh, my God.
You know, it's scary. I don't know if you guys know this or not. They estimate that less than 20% of rape victims ever call the police. Less than 20%.
You know why, though? Because they're scared of not being believed.
Yeah.
Right? And it's sad because it happens so much. I don't know why people have that fear of not being believed. You know, it's really sad. But I understand that it does happen because I've watched a few crime shows where it shows the interview happen of where the woman was being interviewed after a rape. And the officer's like, so are you sure that it wasn't consensual? So are you sure?
Sure?
Are you sure that he didn't just mean it? So she talks about, like, she has strangulation marks on her neck. Okay. And he said, so she's like, you know, showing that he choked her and she's showing the strangulation marks. And he's like, well, are you sure that wasn't just like kinky play? This is what he's saying to her. And this is a 17-year-old minor, mind you. Yeah. And she's just like, well, obviously you don't believe me. So, and he's like, well, I'm just saying, like, it sounds like maybe you're worried about getting in trouble from your parents. So you're, you know, coming up with this. And I was thinking, oh my gosh. So this guy ended up killing a woman. This interview that I'm talking about, he ended up killing his next victim like 3 weeks later.
Okay, so here's just some quick stats for you guys. In 2020, there were over 83,000 violent crimes that were reported. These included 1,290 murders, 7,686 rapes. 13,521 robberies, 60,871 assaults, and over 52,000 burglaries.
So here's the thing, though. What people get for rape is a slap on the wrist. So in the comments below, I want you guys to write what you think somebody who is convicted, okay, they have proof, you're convicted of rape, what should be the minimum sentence that you get in jail for rape? For rape.
Yeah, I would honestly
say... And does
say,
it change if it's a minor?
Yeah. I honestly think that if somebody commits rape, that's a very, like, evil act. It's not about sex. It's about the extreme violence.
And will it escalate?
I don't think it'll ever go away.
Yeah.
I think that's something that they have forever. I think it's life. I think it's death, frankly. Okay.
I don't think it should be life because I do think that people can be rehabilitated, and I think that life should be for murder, for taking somebody else's life.
Okay.
But I do think that if you had at least a minimum of 15 years...
I do think they should be castrated.
But what's happening is, do you know that these, like, people in college and stuff that are doing these, like, date rapes and, like, stuff like that, do you know that some of them either are not going to jail at all or they're getting, like, 3 months probation, 6 months probation?
Okay.
For rape, you're getting probation. That's the problem. That's why rape is so high. That's why people think that they can get away with it. If we had a standard across the U.S. where we're like, if you are going to rape someone, you're going to get 15 years no matter what. If you're convicted, that is the minimum. And if you rape a child, a minor, you are going to get 20 years minimum. I think things would change. People would think twice. But now, where they kind of know that, hey, they may just get 6 months probation.
Yeah.
What? I mean, are you kidding me?
No.
You will go to jail longer for smacking your dog in the face, which is crazy. Animal cruelty, you'll go to jail longer than for raping somebody, which is totally insane to me.
Yeah, but we live in a nation where people are confused about their gender, so of course they're confused about sentences for hitting a dog.
It's sad. It's sad. So...
Okay, so here's an interesting question. Goes on to this question of the dog. So Lenny says, my neighbor keeps threatening to shoot my dog if he barks or gets loose again.
Wow.
He is not a violent dog, but he is a Rottweiler, so he looks intimidating.
Sure.
I have a fenced yard, but sometimes he will dig out and run out the front door when I open it. They used to happen to our German Shepherd all the time.
Happens to our dogs all the time.
Yeah. My question is he legally allowed to shoot my dog just because he gets loose?
No.
No, but that doesn't matter because this guy will do it anyway.
Yeah, he still can and will, right? If he's threatening that. Okay, if he's even threatening that, he's probably got a few screws loose because that's not a neighborly thing to do. You can be upset about someone's dog barking. I get it. You can be upset about somebody's dog running up to your house or whatever it is when people are scared of dogs. So a big dog like a Rottweiler running up to them could be scary. But it's no reason to threaten to shoot anybody or the dog. You're not allowed to do that. And I would honestly just stay away from him because he sounds like he's got a few screws loose. So
yeah, I would definitely call the police.
And maybe you have to set up some barriers. I remember the last place that we lived at when we had a dog run loose, we had a little bit of a walkway. So we actually put up a gate through that walkway so that when we opened the front door, if the dogs got loose, there was a gate right there to stop them. And then we could get them back in the house. Yeah. So maybe on your side, you might have to do a few things to kind of keep your dog in the house. Dogs dig out, though. I mean...
Yeah, but I'll also say, if you guys remember, earlier this year, my son Jackson was attacked by a neighborhood husky.
Yeah.
This dog grabbed Jackson by the arm. It was 11 puncture wounds in his arm, and this dog drug him through the yard.
Yeah.
If I would have been outside, I would have killed this dog. And I told the owner, because this dog has attacked me on my golf cart. It starts biting my golf cart as I'm driving around. Mm-hmm. It attacked John, right?
Yep.
Or it tried to bite John.
And another
woman who was jogging, it bit her. So this dog, and the dog gets out all the time because the kids taking care of it they're little kids. Mm-hmm. This is a big-ass husky.
Yeah.
I am telling you right now, if this dog gets out and comes after me, I am going to kill it.
Yeah.
I promise you.
But
because it is a violent, dangerous dog.
Yes, it has a record.
This should not be around people.
But he said that his dog is not violent, so I'm guessing his dog hasn't bitten somebody before. So if this is the case, so you're asking, is it legal? No, it's not legal for him to do it, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that he won't. You can, if your neighbor verbally threatens again, you can make a police report just so that it's on file. You can have it on file.
If the police are willing to even come out and do a report.
If they're willing, okay?
Because somebody threatened to murder me and my family, and the police wouldn't even... Hillsborough County Sheriff's Department wouldn't even come and fill out a police report of it because they were too damn lazy.
Yeah, so, but you can try so that you have something on paper. That's probably what I would do, just so that you had something on paper. But my advice to you would be to figure out how you can keep your dog inside, figure out... Listen, in my garage, I still have, because we were going to put a fence up and we never did, but I still have, there's no dig fence, ground posts that you can get from Home Depot. They're kind of expensive, but you smash them into the ground by your fence, and then even if your dog digs, it's another this far of steel where they can't get through. Yeah. So maybe that's an option. Best of luck to you, but yeah, sucks. All right.
Yeah, I don't know.
Go.
All right. Just because you are a sheriff's deputy does not mean you have the proper the mindset to handle a firearm safely. So this
Say
is
it again.
just because you're a police officer, military veteran,
yes,
active duty military,
yes,
does not mean you understand how to handle a firearm safely.
Yesterday morning, our agency announced that we had lost Austin, a 23-year-old deputy who was killed in a tragic accident. Austin had been with our agency since he was 18, having served as a public safety officer until he attended law enforcement academy, and then as a deputy sheriff in our West and South precincts. Prior to being employed with our agency, Austin served and volunteered as a member of our Explorer program for several years, as he loved the field of law enforcement and had always dreamed of becoming a deputy sheriff. Man, Austin was such a great kid, and our hearts are broken over his loss. He will be deeply missed by our agency, our community, and our prayers are with his family. Unfortunately for us, though, that's not where this tragedy ends, as Austin was fatally killed in an accidental shooting by his roommate, Deputy Andrew Lawson. What we know at this point is that during the early morning hours on Saturday, the Palm Bay Police Department received a 911 call from off-duty Deputy Andrew Lawson, who reported that he had accidentally shot his roommate and needed help. When officers from Palm Bay PD arrived, they were met by off-duty Deputy Andrew Lawson, who was fully distraught and devastated. Officers discovered off-duty Deputy Austin Walsh inside the residence, where he had apparently succumbed immediately as a result of a single gunshot wound. Lawson was fully cooperative in the investigation that revealed he and Austin had taken a break from playing an online game with a number of their friends and were just kind of standing around talking. Lawson was holding a handgun, which he believed he had unloaded, and at one point in their conversation, Lawson, thinking that the gun was unloaded, jokingly pointed the gun in Austin's direction and pulled the trigger. According to the investigation, a single round was fired that struck Austin, taking his life. Austin and Andrew were the best of friends, and Andrew is completely devastated over what happened. Even with that, there is no excuse for this tragic and totally avoidable death. And as a result, earlier today, Andrew Lawson was taken into custody on a no-bond warrant by agents from the Florida Department of Law Enforcement for manslaughter with a firearm. As per the instructions of the warrant, Andrew was transported to Brevard County Jail, and the case will progress from there. Folks, this unnecessary and totally avoidable incident not only took the life of an amazing young man and deputy, but it has also forever changed the life of another good young man who made an extremely poor and reckless.
Absolutely heartbreaking story. Yeah. You have to be very careful at who you allow to be around you with a gun. Now, here's what's also really fascinating. I was reading through some comments on Facebook, and again, we were talking about, like, you know, just firearm safety, whatever. Mm-hmm. And just the comments of what people are saying, it's just like, this is why you're so stupid. Mm-hmm. Like, gun owners are justifying stupid behavior. Mm-hmm. Well, it's not loaded. It's okay. In fact, there's a guy that works at a local gun store here in Tampa, mm-hmm. in Hillsborough County, mm-hmm. who is a retired sheriff's deputy, mm-hmm. who did this multiple times at the gun store. Mm-hmm. And one of the employees of the gun store told him, like, if you frickin' point a unloaded gun at me again, I am going to shoot you. I'm going to shoot you.
Oh, it's unloaded.
But the guy's like, oh, it's just a joke. It's unloaded. You're the dumbest person on the planet.
Yeah.
But this, again, is a sheriff's deputy, 20 plus years as a sheriff's deputy, and you still think this kind of behavior is acceptable.
Because those people are so ignorant, okay? They think that they are going to change when it's a loaded gun. Their behavior will change, but that is not true. What happens is you do that with an unloaded gun, you will do the same behaviors with a loaded gun, yeah. and that's when somebody gets killed.
Yeah.
That is
why. And then
why
you're like, I don't know what happened. I thought it was unloaded.
The rules across the board. You don't point a gun at something you're not willing to destroy. You always treat all guns as if they're loaded. It's not, you sometimes treat guns as if they're loaded, and it really pisses me off when it's, you know, I'm just going to say it because I hear it all the time. Oh, no, I don't need to take that class because this neighbor, boyfriend, husband, dad is a sheriff this, military this. And I always just want to say, like, that's great. Just because you wear that badge, that name, it does not mean you know what you're doing.
And also, here's something that people don't always understand. Just because you know how to do a thing does not mean you understand how to teach others how to do the thing.
So somebody posted on one of our ads, I own 78 guns. What makes you think I need to take a safety class? And I thought I could go out tomorrow knowing nothing and buy 78 guns. It means nothing.
Yeah.
It does not mean that I'm safe with firearms.
Sure.
All it means is I have a lot of guns. There are a lot of people that have been gun owners, okay, just going to say it. My dad, he's been a gun owner for 50 years. He's been hunting every single year since he's been probably 16 years old, and he's almost 60 years old. But the guy puts his finger on the trigger every time he picks up a gun. It's the first thing he does. It is like built in him, okay? And he's just not aware of where, the muzzle is at all times. But he's been a gun owner for a lot of years.
Because the length of time does not indicate competency.
Yes.
Okay? But
And
people don't understand
your Sheepdog boot camp people, Terry and Lisa and
Yeah.
So they're brand new to guns.
Francisco, yeah.
Literally brand spanking new. Ryan was the first time they shot a gun, and now 2, maybe 3 months in, they are some of the safest gun owners.
And not only safest, Lisa's on here. I'm sure Terry's on
is
here.
she?
Francisco
Okay, cool.
watches a lot. So, they understand the concepts at a very deep level.
Yeah.
So when you build such a firm foundation like this, they're going to be able to just keep stacking the skills on top and really excel. Whereas most people, this dude the other day is like, I've been shooting guns for years. I know how to shoot. And then he comes up to shoot the gun. And I was like, sir, you have an inappropriate grip. If you were to pull the trigger right now, sir, you'd slice your hand open. There'd be blood everywhere. And I want to be rude, to be honest. I want to be like, I thought you told me 10 minutes ago you're experienced, you know how to shoot. So who were you lying to? Were you lying to me or are you lying to yourself, sir? Mm-hmm. The reality is you're lying to yourself. You don't even know the basic concept of gripping the gun properly. Mm-hmm. Whereas Lisa, pretty new, understands it perfectly and can articulate it even better.
Yeah. So back to the story. Super sad. 23-year-old dad, complete negligence. Complete stupidity. I'm happy. I mean, the sheriff's office has to charge him.
Oh yeah, the state
has to. The state has to. Because if you didn't, I mean, you're just giving everybody a bad name. There's no way to call this an accident. There is no way to call this anything other.
But doesn't that piss you off when these people are like, this is an unfortunate accident? This was not an accident.
No.
This was a very stupid person with a gun and a badge who thought that because he completed, you got to also think, to become a sheriff's deputy, you have to complete, I think it's like 120-hour-long firearm shooting course. So now everybody that's on here right now, I want you to comment, I have, or yes, if you have completed 120 hours of not training on your own, 124 hours with an instructor at a gun range.
Nobody.
I haven't done 124 hours.
Yeah.
So this dude who did 124 hours still screwed up this massively that he shot his best friend.
Yeah.
Like, so again, it just goes to show you the amount of time you invest is not the indication of your level of skill. So like everybody on here is no, I haven't.
Nope.
Like 124 hours is a lot of professional training, right?
Yeah.
Just goes to show that's not enough. It's a mindset.
Yeah.
Do you really believe that this stuff is critical? And in fact, I had students today in the beginner's guide. The one dude, I won't say his name, but the one dude, he put his hand in front of the gun, and I'm like, listen, man. I said, you can't put your hand in front of the gun. And then he said, at the end of the class, I offer people, hey, if you want to get more range training, I'm going to give you a special offer, whatever. And the guy's like, hey, can I get my certificate for concealed carry so I don't have to come back here again? You're not very smart. You're not very smart. Because now you're going to own a gun. You're already checking out in your mind that I don't need any more training. An hour ago, 50 minutes ago, you pointed a gun at your hand because of your lack of ability to handle a firearm. And now you think that after my 1 hour of training, I'm ready to do whatever and handle this gun. Like
people are the issue is what I see is people are so quick to move on to the next level, right? Without building a firm foundation of the basics. And that's why I love the Sheepdog Boot Camp. That's why I love, like, Lisa, who wants to take the time that's like, no, wait, like, there's no rush. Like, I haven't had a gun for 20 years or 30 years. So it's okay if it takes me a few months to build the skills and, you know, to confirm my ability so that I am going to be a safe and responsible gun owner, and I'm not going to end up on a news story or killing myself or my best friend because I want to take the time to build a firm foundation. And that's, I think, kind of the key takeaway of, you know, really just, yeah. But it's sad. This whole story could have been avoided.
Yeah.
Super sad. So
Yeah.
now a young man is dead. So let that be a lesson learned. I heard somebody in the comments say, like, overconfidence. And yes, that is one thing. And Ryan and I are completely aware of that. Like, we have to keep reminding
Which is
ourselves.
my biggest fear. You got to remember, guys, I handle guns every single day.
Yeah.
I'm at the range with students almost every single day.
Yeah.
It is my biggest fear of accidentally shooting myself or hurting a student. It really is.
Yeah.
And, you know, we survey our students and ask them questions, and I was like, what's your biggest fear, you know, as a gun owner?
Sure.
And this guy's like, I don't have any fears. Am I supposed to be afraid? Yeah, because this is a dangerous freaking gun.
I mean,
you are supposed to be
kind
concerned.
of. You should always have that level of concern so that when you go to clean your firearms, you have a little bit of fear.
You check
here.
it 3,
So
4,
that you're
5
like,
times.
I need to double check it. I need to make sure that it's unloaded. I need to make sure that and it's that little bit of fear that really keeps you safe. It's as soon as you take away all that fear and think that you know it all, that's when accidents start to happen because you skip steps.
Yeah.
You know?
Anyway.
So, yeah. Anyway.
All right, here's another interesting story. So Scott says, someone threatened to shoot me if I came on his property again. What can I do to ensure my safety? Well, I'm going to make this really easy, Scott.
Stay off the guy's property?
Don't go on his property. Can I call the cops on him? I'm an exterminator, and I was removing the termite protection traps from his yard, canceled service. Half the traps are still there. Want to pick them up, but scared of this individual.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go back.
Say goodbye to your traps is what I would
screw
say.
those traps.
How much are those traps really? Like, I mean, a couple dollars. Say goodbye to your traps. Write this guy off and never go back there again is my advice to you. Because somebody that's going to threaten to shoot you for being on their property, I would just say that's an unstable person and that's someone that you just want to stay away from. You can call the cops and
I would. I think you always should.
And make a report. If somebody threatens your life when you know that it wasn't a threatenable offense, right? Because only if they're allowed to use deadly force can they even threaten non-lethal or non-deadly force, or sorry, deadly force. So somebody can't threaten to shoot you unless they are legally allowed to shoot you. So in this situation, somebody is not allowed to legally shoot you just for stepping on their property. So you could call the cops, you could make a claim, and you could have it on, the record because the guy needs to be investigated. Because unfortunately, if you don't say something, he thinks he can get away with it.
He's gonna kill somebody
next
else.
Guy who comes on his property, he thinks it's okay. He pulls out his gun and he shoots him, and then we see him on the news. So I would say if you have somebody that threatens your life, okay, and it's not justified, that you do call the cops and you report it.
Yeah.
And it just needs to happen more and more often. And when we start reporting these people who are doing this, because it's illegal. You're not supposed to do it. Just because you own a gun, it doesn't mean that you can threaten to kill people whenever you damn well feel like it. You can only threaten to kill someone if you actually have the legal right to pull a gun and shoot them. Like, what are the things? The reasons that you're allowed to use
If you have a reasonable
deadly
fear of imminent death, imminent great bodily harm, imminent death, great bodily harm, imminent commission of forcible felony, use of deadly force has to be immediately necessary, you have to be in a place that you have a right to be, and you cannot be committing a crime. So frankly, in the state of Florida, you're never allowed to shoot somebody just because you're on your property. So that's irrelevant, right?
Yeah. So if you're not allowed to shoot them, you're also not allowed to threaten them with deadly force.
Okay, so Kim says, stay off people's property without permission, and you're only hearing half the story.
Well, maybe.
Hold on. Can you get a little more ridiculous? Here's the bottom line. If I guarantee you right now, because we used to have these in our contracts for Culligan Water, when we would sell somebody a water softener for Culligan, the terms and conditions say, I have permission to come onto your property to service the unit in performance of our official duties. I guarantee you that's what Scott's company's contract says, if he has a smart attorney that wrote it.
The Tico guy that comes to read your meter, he comes on your property.
But that's part of the terms of service.
You're not allowed to shoot him. people can come on your property. I can, if I'm walking whatever, and my dog walks on your grass and I decide to come and grab my dog off your property, sorry, but you're not allowed to shoot me just because I'm on your property. That's not the way that it works. So there are, the pool cleaner may be coming on your property or something like that. So
I like 182Q. He said, file a construction lien against this guy for your traps and your services.
You are smart, sweetheart.
I love it, dude.
Yeah,
I think that's
could.
brilliant.
Yeah.
Then this a-hole will never be able to sell his house.
Yeah.
Never be able to clear it until he finally pays that fee. I think that's brilliant.
And if he wants to collect the traps himself and put them on the sidewalk and have you pick them up, that's fine too.
Yeah.
You know, but this is the thing. We got to just loosen up. We got to stop threatening to kill people because they come
over
on
dumb stuff.
Because they come on our property. The Walmart delivery guy, the Amazon delivery guy, they all come on our property.
But you know what's funny?
It happens all the time.
I was sitting in the hot tub the other day, and our neighbors have like little kids, little girls.
Yeah.
And anytime they take the dogs out back, the dogs like always ferociously run to my back door
and
to
then
like.
All the little girls run over here, and they're like
chasing their dogs all in my
catch it.
yard and trying to catch them and stuff. So I'm sitting in the hot tub watching this, just like laughing because the dog is juking them, right?
And
they
these
can
girls
never
are
catch
like
it.
5 and 6 years old.
Yeah.
So cute.
But they come over and they're like, I'm sorry. And I'm like, don't be sorry. Like, you know, it's not a big deal. Just, you know, do your thing. Because we're trying to have a community. We're trying to be friends. It doesn't matter. I don't care that you're in my yard. I don't care that you're on my patio. Like, I got bigger shit to worry about in my life.
You're a 5-year-old kid. I'm not
than a
threatened by you.
5-year-old kid trying to get their dog on my patio. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. Okay, so again, Kim, you heard half the property. I'm sure you're saying you heard half the story. It doesn't matter if it's half the story. Just because somebody comes on your property, okay? It doesn't matter what that person did. Just because somebody comes on your property, even if they're there to steal something on your property.
You can't shoot them.
You can't shoot them.
You can't even threaten them with a gun.
You can't threaten them with a gun. The only time is if they forcibly enter your home, okay, where it's occupied, then you would have the right. But I could walk on your property. I could literally pick up your patio set that's sitting right on your front porch, and I could walk it to my car.
You can fight me.
You can fight me.
You can't use a gun.
You can pepper spray me. You can call the cops, but you can't use a gun in the state of Florida. That's the law. I'm not necessarily saying I agree with that 100%, but that is the law. So if you want to be within the law, that's what we teach on this show, is how to be within the law and how to, then that's the way that it goes. Okay. So if somebody walks into you have a little garden shed, they crack open the lock and they start wheeling out your lawnmower, call the cops, get their license plate.
You can fight them.
You can fight them. You can pepper
Can't
spray
use a
them,
gun.
but you can't use a gun. And you also can't threaten to use a gun either. That's just the law. So, I mean, if you want to do something outside of that, that's fine, but that is the law.
I like the enthusiasm, Dan.
Dan, that's great. Baseball bat to the knees, maybe. You might be able to do that.
I think we would
Who
have
knows?
less crime in America if we could do stuff like that.
Yeah, I'm not saying that, like I said, it's not always that I agree with it, but we're here to tell you what you can and can't do within the law.
Yeah, because what sucks is I have these people all the time, right? Something happens, somebody steals their lawnmower right in front of them. They charge outside with a handgun and they like start threatening them and holding them at gunpoint.
Yeah.
The police show up and the police are like, "What's happening?"
Yeah.
And the homeowner's like, "He was trying to steal my lawnmower."
Yeah.
So I stopped him.
Yeah.
And they're like, "Okay, put the gun down. All right, I'm just going to put your hands over here just for my safety." And then afterwards, they're like, "Yeah, you're under arrest for improper exhibition of a dangerous weapon or firearm," which is, by the way, punishable by 1 year in prison. Mm-hmm. And then they take your ass to jail.
No OTO racer, not even a BB gun. But this is what you can do, right? So you walk outside, they're wheeling your lawnmower. You say, "Stop, that's my lawnmower." They keep going, big deal. You take out your phone, you snap a picture of their license plate, you call the cops, you take a picture, take a freaking video. Take a video of this guy wheeling your lawnmower out. I mean, we have all these devices right here with us, right? Half of us have a Ring doorbell.
Do you remember the guy stealing the kid's bike? I freaking charged outside. So the FedEx driver who we knew, who we'd become friends with because she delivered 50,000 packages to us a day.
Yeah.
But she starts banging on her door.
I forgot about her, the blonde lady. She was sweet.
She starts banging on her door. And it was like Christmas time, so they always work super late. It's like 9:30, 10 o'clock at night. Starts banging. So I open the door thinking, what the hell is happening?
Yeah.
And she goes, somebody's stealing your kids' bikes.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh shit. So I ran out there. This guy's got 2 of my kids' bikes in the back of his truck.
And he's going for the third one.
And he's got the third one in his hand. So I ran up, I freaking grabbed the bike out of his hand, I chucked it onto the yard.
Yeah.
I grabbed the other bikes out of his truck and just started
What
chucking
the hell
them in the
are
yard.
you doing? Blah, blah, blah,
and I was
blah.
like, what the F are you doing? Blah, blah, blah. And the guy's like, oh, sorry, bro. I thought they were garbage. I'm like, they're sitting on my lawn.
Yeah.
Garbage? They're sitting on my lawn.
Yeah, and she knew because she delivered our packages all the time. She knew the kids left their bikes all over the yard, right? They just left them there, not on the side of the road where like you put the, junk for people to take from. These are on our yard. So she knew, and that's why she came and told us. But in that situation, could you have pulled out your gun?
No.
And threatened him?
No.
Why?
Because it is illegal. Yeah. Bike stealing is an extra kind of low. Yeah,
I agree. Especially kids' bikes.
You're stealing from a little kid, dude, right?
And if you think they are free, how long does it take for you to go knock on the door and say, hey, I see these bikes out here. I just wanted to make sure that you meant to put them out on the road for scrap metal before I took them. Oh, yeah, no problem. Or, no, they're not free, right?
Yes, Jay. My kids do not leave much outside anymore.
Yeah.
I wouldn't say anything, but
they don't.
It is very common that somebody posts a picture in our community group and they're like, hey, I found a pocket knife at the playground. Anybody know who that belongs to? And I'm like, yeah.
Or a pair of shoes or a helmet or a TV remote.
For some reason, I own 8 TV remotes. I only have 2 TVs in my house, but I own 8 TV remotes and I can never find a damn one.
Yeah.
Why? Because they left it at the park. For some random reason.
Okay, do we have any more questions? Because we went way over today.
All right, guys. Thanks for watching. We appreciate you. Have a great night.
No, we'll see you next Monday night. Thank you for watching. And if you have a question, do you have the little thingy?
Yeah, right there. AskTampaCarrier.com.
If you have a question that you want us to for sure answer on the show, sometimes we get comments, sometimes we can't get to them because we don't see them. You can just go to ask.tampacarrier.com and we will answer your question on the show for sure. That's it.
Okay.
Ready to go get busy?
Tom said nobody could ever ID him for a crime. They'd be like, I don't know, he was Asian.
Good night, Tom.
I am a sheepdog.
I have a subconscious and moral burden
to protect and help the people around me.
I believe in safety, responsibility,
and the God-given right to defend myself and others
from the wolves who seek to steal, kill, and destroy.
I defend the Second Amendment
by properly representing what it means to be a gun owner.
I will put aside my doubts,
my fears, and my excuses.
I will be trained, I will be ready.
I will be confident, and I will be prepared.
While some sheepdogs are born, most are made.
Becoming a sheepdog is a choice.
A new way of thinking and a new identity.
An alter ego that you must step into.
We are patriots.
We are defenders of liberty.
We protect those we love.
We are sheepdogs.